Cheryl Thompson, a college student from Cincinnati, Ohio, went missing on March 24, 1978, when she left her parents' house to meet her boyfriend at a disco. The next day, her body was found on the bank of the Little Miami River near Loveland. What did Cheryl really go through? Did she drown while she was swimming? Or did something much worse happen to her? 2 weeks later, her body was found by the Little Miami River in Ohio, but it was in bad shape. Today, we will look at the 44-year-old cold case finally solved, the Cheryl Thompson case. Today, we're going to explore Cincinnati, which is the third biggest city in Ohio and was founded as a town in 1788, but now has more than 300,000 people living there. Cincinnati is a culture and business center known for its Mediterranean-inspired chili, which makes it stand out. The city is also the seat of government for Hamilton County and has the oldest baseball team in the United States. American film director, writer, and producer Steven Spielberg was born and raised in the city. He was born in the United States, too. Cheryl Thompson grew up in the city of Cincinnati, in the state of Ohio, with her parents and 2 brothers, Bill and Dan. Everyone who knew Cheryl said she was smart, kind, and loved to have fun. She was known for always having a smile on her face, which made people like her more. She cared about all living things, including both people and animals. Bill Thompson said she was everyone's best friend. When Cheryl was 19 and accepted to the University of Cincinnati to study nursing, her older brother told the press that it was a dream come true for her. She always wanted to be a nurse, and since her school was in the same city as where her folks lived, it was easy for her to get back and forth. From a young age, it was clear that she would work with other people. It was just who she was. Bill had said that Laura Bressert was another friend of Cheryl's. Cheryl felt safe talking to Laura about her secrets and fears, and it was easy to see that the 2 friends were close because they both liked going to the disco every weekend. People would look at them and wonder why they were dancing together. But they were just having fun and dancing together. Laura said that Cheryl couldn't change her mind about going to the club, no matter what her friends said, and that nothing could stop her or change her plans. When Cheryl said goodbye to Dan and left the house around 10:30 p.m., that was the last time anyone saw her living. Cheryl's boyfriend went to Gatsby's club and waited until midnight for her. At this point, he was very worried because Cheryl still hadn't shown up, and he had a lot of things going through his head. Soon he went outside to look for her. As soon as he looked around, he saw her. Cheryl went missing, but the next day her car was found. It was on Bach Street, which was a few blocks away from the disco. After finding the car, the police went door to door to see if anyone had seen anything that could help them with their case. The public was also given a description of her in case someone had seen her. But it didn't work. Cheryl seemed to have vanished off the face of the earth. Cheryl's car was found after a few days. When he got closer, he saw that it was the rotting body of a dead woman that was caught in the plants down a slope. He was shocked by this and went back to his car to call the Hamilton County Sheriff deputies right away. Within minutes, police officers were on the scene and had the area locked down. When you look at the body more closely, you can see that the woman, who looked to be in her early 20s, was well dressed and lying about 20 feet from the river. She was still wearing shoes, socks, and jewelry, but her pants looked like it had been changed, and her neck was bruised. Since police had no new information, the case was soon closed. When Cheryl died, Dan said, "Someone who just doesn't know where his head is at." Years went by, and Cheryl's family and friends still felt sad about her death. Her parents died before they ever found out who killed their daughter so brutally, but her brothers, Bill and Dan, never gave up hope that their sister's murder would be solved one day. In 2022, police sent the sperm from Cheryl's rape kit to a genealogy company that was not involved in the case. Genetic genealogy, which uses DNA to figure out how people are related to each other, was used by the company. A family tree was found based on the findings. There were 3 people in the family who stood out. They were a brother, a cousin, and an uncle. The police found all 3 of them, and they were able to tell them what they needed to know to solve the case. With this new clue, detectives chose to dig up Ralph's body, which was buried at the Evandale Rest Haven Memorial Park. When they got to where Ralph was buried, they dug up his body and sent his jawbone to a lab for a forensic study. It was just a matter of waiting for the test findings. When they were finally given to the police, the information was exactly what officers had hoped for. The DNA taken from Ralph's jawbone matched the DNA that had been found on the body. Reports say that Ralph tried to take a woman hostage in 1983, just 5 years after Cheryl died, but failed. He allegedly stopped the woman on the side of the road and offered to drive her home in his newspaper delivery truck. The woman had already been raped. Before he died, Ralph worked as a newspaper delivery man for a company called the Cincinnati Enquirer. As soon as Ralph told her he wanted to sleep with her, he put a rope around her neck and started to choke her. She fought back, and after a lot of fighting, he stopped the truck and let her go. Ralph was eventually caught and pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of unlawful restraint. However, police think that Ralph may also be responsible for the deaths of 3 other women who died between 1976 and 1978. Ralph may or may not have gone to jail for the crime. One of these people was Charmaine Stola, who was 17 years old. The Loveland Police Department and BCI should be praised for their hard work. They never gave up looking for Cheryl Thompson's killer. And now, more than 40 years later, her family was at peace. Nancy Ann Theobald, who was 18, and Victoria Hincher, who was 24, were also found raped and strangled just like Cheryl. However, unlike Cheryl, there was no DNA proof from the other 2 murderers. Even though Ralph was dead, detectives met with Cheryl's family and told them they could give the evidence to the jury if they wanted more closure. Joseph Dieters is a lawyer in Hamilton County. He said that he has tried several serial killers in his career, and our office is sure that he is one of them. On November 17, 2022, everyone in the family agreed to do this. Even though Ralph wouldn't go to trial, the charge gave Cheryl's family and friends a sense of closure about what happened. Even though Bill said it didn't matter if he was dead or not, knowing that someone had been charged with killing her sister helped put the matter to rest. The situation was put to rest when someone was charged. The fact that her friend's murderer was finally solved made Laura happy too. Her friend was a really nice person who didn't deserve to be killed. Laura's body had been killed. Laura thanked the police officers by saying, "I'm really happy that you finally caught him. Thanks so much." She went on to say that it was sad that Cheryl couldn't live out the rest of her life because of what had happened to her, because she had her whole life ahead of her. Do you think Cheryl would still be living if she had listened to Laura and stayed away from the disco? Leave a comment below with what you think, and don't forget to like, write, share, and subscribe.